books are a labor of love. So those 240, 300, 360, how many ever pages, they have like really put that author through a winger. It is a game of luck, to be very honest. Many things influence it to a book getting noticed or a book becoming a bestseller or something like that, right? It's like a total game of chance for that matter. But there are ways in which you can tip the game in your favor. No one's gonna give it to you in a platter, but you can. You can go to the buffet and pick things out if you are in the mood.
The market is like really crowded. Everyone seems to be writing a book. So, what can an aspiring writer do to stand out in this crowded market? Welcome to a brand new episode of Which Are Vibes. Today we have with us Sinful Souls, and that's the real name.
It's not.
Hi Garima, welcome. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, Priyanka. How are you doing?
I'm also doing good. Thank you so much for asking. Garima, for the people who do not know who you are, can you maybe give us a little bit of introduction? Who you are and what you do?
Hi everyone, I'm Garima. I'm based out of Bombay and I'm a marketer. I used to work in traditional book publishing. The last company that I worked with was Penguin India, where I looked after book marketing for their list in Southeast Asia. I love reading, I love trekking, I love talking to people. So here I am in this conversation.
So Garima, I'll get straight into it. So एक hypothetical situation के साथ चलते हैं इस conversation में. Let's just say कि मैं एक aspiring writer हूँ और मैं कुछ books लिखना चाहती हूँ. मुझे कोई experience नहीं है book लिखने का. I have written some articles here and there, maybe in some other field, right? Or I have a manuscript which I would like to see what to do with it. So what would be the thing that I can do to get started with the publishing process?
I'll just make an assumption here that the manuscript you have is for a fiction book, right? Or for adult fiction, because every book works differently. So for an aspiring adult fiction book writer who has not written books before, they've contributed articles and all of that, and now they're pitching. It's called pitching, right? You're pitching your manuscript to people. There are primarily a decision between two things that we need to do. First, whether you want to self-publish your book or you want to traditionally get it published via, the popular publishing houses. Just touching a bit on self-publishing, which is quite a popular option these days. There are two ways to go about it. One would be that you look into the common or local self-publishing houses that provide various services, compare the services they have, check if they've done books in your genre before, or if they've published books like yours before. Reach out to those authors, see how their experience was working with them, both publishing, marketing, and the whole entire thing, and make a decision. Alternatively, if you think you have the time, energy, and resources for it, and you want to do self-publishing, but you want to have absolute control over how the whole thing happens, you can look into Kindle Direct Publishing as well. And you can, search on the internet. There are a lot of resources available about it. What people don't know about is the traditional side of publishing and how you could perhaps go out, pitch your manuscript, and all of those things. When it comes to traditional publishing, there are two ways again. Either you could go by yourself, where you yourself are pitching your book, or you find an agent to do that for you. Now, it could be a single literary agent or an entire agency. That really depends on, your bandwidth to actually find the people who might be interested in a manuscript like yours. It requires a lot of research from your end to understand, where your book makes a good fit. But that comes later. If you decided to go by the traditional publishing route, either you look for an agent or you look for a publisher. If you're looking for an agent, there are lists available on our website called Himalayan Writing Circle. You can actually find a list of traditional, literary agents who can help you get into traditional publishing. Alternatively, if you decide that, hey, I am the best person to represent my manuscript and I want to do it by myself, you should be looking into the submit to us or submission section of all traditional publishers like Penguin, Harper, Pan, Macmillan, Hachette, Bloomsbury. All of these have these dedicated sections in their website, which have like very clear-cut guidelines on what all do they need from you to make a submission in the genre that you want to submit your book in, which is adult fiction, for example. The materials that you would require to make your initial submissions could be something like a synopsis of the book, like what is the book about, an overview about it, like what is the book about, not just the glitzy version of it, but what does it actually deal with and why are you the person to write this book. Maybe if the manuscript is complete or you have a few sample chapters written, it helps to share that with the publisher because they can just gauge, what your writing reads like. Apart from that, it also helps if you've done some on-ground research to see books in similar genre, like which ones have performed well, which ones are selling, and which ones are more comparable to you. And lastly, as you mentioned that you might have written some articles or gotten them published, it helps to show them that, hey, you're not a first-time writer, have been published before, or you've penned articles before, and your word is already out there on the internet, and now you're planning to, flesh it out in the form of a full-fledged topic. So a lot of work, but yeah. So usual way that it can happen.
Okay, yeah, as you mentioned, a lot of steps, but I want to go back to the point you made an assumption that it could be like a fiction book, adult fiction book. So, how different would it look for a different genre or a different topic? Let's say children's book, how would it work for that? Or non-fiction, which it's the easiest thing to write a non-fiction these days, right? Every influencer has started to write a non-fiction book. Who is not a writer? Who has never thought of writing? So non-fiction seems like something everyone could dabble in, kind of a thing.
There's an inside joke in publishing that for non-fiction writers or influencers, books are the new contact cards, like rather than saying, hi, it's me, they say, oh, this is my book, why don't you get it and know all about it? So that's it. In terms of just dabbling non-fiction first because it's an easier answer, let's just say you have a non-fiction book that you want to publish. People do non-fiction books sell. Like if there's something called as Nielsen charts, which give you an overall, BT rankings of what's selling, by how much, by which publisher, and all of that. And it's always the non-fiction books that are topping the charts. People love reading non-fiction, especially if it's in the self-help or self-help. I was gonna say, yeah. It sells. It really sells. And apart from there, if there are life biographies or something that's really new, for that matter, right now, Mr. Tata's biography has come. It's likely to top the charts or something like that. So non-fiction is very local news and all dependent, and that usually does the thing. So let's just say if you have a non-fiction book to pitch, there are many takers for it. So, you could go the simple route like trying to find an agent, which is again, they have a lot of appetite for non-fiction. If you come with experience in the thing that you're writing about branding, and you actually have work to show for it, it's easier for them to, put that out there. If you're talking about self-help, if you're a coach, if you're a life coach, if you actually do conduct events and workshops and all of that, that you can, tell them that, hey, I do this and now I'm writing a book, it really adds to your profile. So that's it. So you could pitch it to an agent, you can submit it via the publisher's, submission stage on the website. And lastly, for non-fiction, it also helps that, there's commissioning editors and publishers who are the people who acquire the rights to your title, something like that. You can also DM them on LinkedIn, that really works. If you go to the at that and you really want to give them a really elevator pitch of, hey, this is what my book is like, and I know that you publish books like this for this particular publishing house, and this might be of interest to you. This is what it is. Let me know if you'd like to connect. And that books will even it's just a tad bit easier for non-fiction books. Wouldn't say completely easy because, as you said, everybody thinks they're a writer and they want to write, and non-fiction books are easier to come by, but they do get a preference while getting acquired. Whereas in terms of children's books, if you might have noticed, a lot of these books come with illustrations, really good illustrations and all of that. So before you actually go out there to pitch a book like this, it helps if you have a reference visual mood board or something like that. If I'm writing a book featuring animals, for that matter, that's still easier. But if I've got very peculiar characters and I want them to come up visually in a certain manner, then before finding a publisher, you actually need to find an illustrator or an artist to kind of flesh out the idea a little, so that when they actually see your book proposal or see what you are pitching, they have a visual idea of what this is going to look like, and perhaps they'd be interested in doing it. And for children's book, it helps if you are agented, because those deals happen a bit differently, and you might not be able to perhaps negotiate it just by, using your wits about it. So, yeah.
You touched on this topic a little bit where we talked about which publisher can be a best fit. Is there any way to know something like that, to find out which publisher can be a good fit for me?
Yes. So there are two ways, right? One, you could check past history, and then you could keep an eye out on acquisitions. And by that I mean, by past history, let's just say I have written crime thriller book in the fiction genre. It's crime thriller fiction. It's almost fictionalized. It would help if I go to the catalog stage of a publisher's, website or something, and I just see how many books in this genre have they published in the last year. It's all there. It's all there. All the catalogs are available for all publishers out there. You can just, just get like a data set and see, like, they published 360 books, 15 were in this genre. So maybe they have an appetite for it. They published 300 books, but less than 5 books were from this genre. And then you research the authors and see, is the author a journalist who's writing fiction? Is this author someone popular who's pivoting to this genre? Like, how was the acquisition made and what's the connection there? So it will just give you an idea about, what the appetite a publisher or a certain publisher might have for a particular genre. Alternatively, if you're looking into literary fiction or works of translations, keep an eye out on the awards that keep happening so that you know which are the publishers who are really pushing for these kind of books and kind of sweeping the awards. So it gives you an idea that who would be interested. And this is also when these awards and all happen, you get to know who was the editor, who was perhaps working on this project. So luck by chance, if you get a chance to like slide into their DMs or get hold of their contact and respectfully write to them in a way that would be enticing, that this is my elevator pitch and this is kind of similar to the books you have published before, and if you would take the time to check this out, it really helps. It's all about it's all about data in a way that you keep in a tab on what's happening in the market, where you want to go with your book, and how much in sync you are with the opportunities out there. No one's gonna give it to you in a platter, but you can go to the buffet and pick things out if you are in the mood.
Yeah, outreach seems to be one of the yeah. So talking of outreach, let's say I managed to do all the things that you mentioned, a lot of things, but then again, as I said before, in today's world of social media, it seems very important to have that presence also to market your book. So how could a first-time author navigate those areas?
Just social media or marketing in general?
Marketing in general, through social media or without the social media also.
So I think every author knows apne dil mein, they know it, whether they are for social media or not. And having that clarity really helps. Okay, it really helps. If you like dicey that, oh yeah, I get onto the social media platform, the publisher or the marketer or the publicist asks me, then you shouldn't wait for that, to be very honest. If you think you can be there, if somebody asks you to, then you should already be there. But if you have this clear cut that, hey, maybe I'm not for social media, it also helps because, then you can actually plan your entire strategy around it. For instance, let's just say if you are on social media, if you use social media, if you are on social media, not every platform perhaps, but you're just on Instagram, then maybe assess the book that you're writing. Is it for people who are using Instagram? If yes, then it makes sense for you to get active on the page, to connect with fellow authors on the platform, to follow all the relevant, publication houses and awards and events and literary festivals and social media, just to keep tabs of what's happening. And also, much before your book comes out, you are in touch with all these bookstagrammers and book content creators and book influencers. So you already know that the genre I'm writing for, this is what they read, and these are the main people who could perhaps influence the reader's interest in perhaps buying my book. But at the same time, if you're not on social media, if you say that, hey, social media is not for me, and if you see, hey, social media is not also for perhaps my book for that matter, it maybe deals with certain sensitive topics or something that maybe appeals to an age group that is not very, prominent on social media, then there are other ways to go about it. You can come to podcasts, who talk about those relevant topics. Or perhaps you can look into print media, with very particular journalists who cover a particular beat. So it would make sense for you to perhaps be in touch with those people. You could be a part of local group events wherein, the topic of your book is relevant and they might be interested in, perhaps hosting you for a bookish event or something like that. So you have to find an avenue. Even if you're the author and you think that marketing is not your job, it is. You have to think of avenues that could either complement what you plan to do in social media or either supplement the efforts, that you're not doing this, then you're doing this. Like something's happening from nowhere. It needs to happen. That's the kind of confidence publishers also need while acquiring your book, and the authors in that, I will market my book. So yeah, that's to me there.
The market is like really crowded. Everyone seems to be writing a book. So what can an aspiring writer do to stand out in this crowded market? It's very individualistic probably for each and every one of them, but maybe your opinion on this.
The first thing they can do is actually pray to God, because it is a game of luck, to be very honest. Many things influence it to a book getting noticed or a book becoming a bestseller or something like that, right? It's like a total game of chance for that matter. But there are ways in which you can tip the game in your favor. That's the thing, right? Many ways again, if you are writing a fiction book, okay, if you're writing a fiction book and you have access to platforms like Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, utilize them. Utilize them. As I said, make the right connections. Like networking is everything in publishing. The more people you get to perhaps to word of mouth promotions for your book, it helps. It really helps. Like right now, people are a bit saturated with the number of books that are coming out, or with the same content creator pushing a new book every day, or even 4 books on every single day basis, right? So like how many books can a person buy? So it really helps if you actually connect with communities and clubs that are either very focused on the genre or niche in which your book exists in, right? It helps like being in touch with the right people, being in touch with the right communities, identifying them first, reaching out to them, seeing if they'd be interested in promoting you or pushing your effort in that manner. To stand out, it's a really tough question. What can you do to stand out? First, it requires a bit of honesty, right? This is perhaps one of the things we used to tell authors during our briefing conversations, that you are here to sell your book. You're here to market your book. So perhaps this is the time that you reach out to everyone in your friends and family and acquaintances and all of that. That, hey, I have a book coming out and I would really love your support. And there are different ways in which people can show up for you. If those people are on social media or they're in touch with people who have better social media capital, they could help you get a shout out. If these are people who perhaps don't use social media but would love to come in person to attend your events, they would be the people who make the events look crowded. If there are people who could perhaps take you in touch with the right people at certain publications, that helps too. So leaning into your community for support really helps. And in case you think that you don't have that community or you don't have that kind of network, then it just helps to prepare a bit. It just helps you prepare a bit, understand the landscape, understand how do things happen, who are the right people to be in touch with, and make an earnest effort to get in touch with people.
Yeah. Again, outreach seems to be very, very important.
Yes. Networking is quite important in this.
I think we do realize that also for like podcasting, because at the end of the day, you're making it for other people to listen to it, or you're writing a book for, for people to go and read it. So yeah, these things matter. Anyway, one last question I have for you is, what skills in today's market do you think a writer should have, an aspiring author to have?
I think first would be writing skill, because no amount of marketing, publicity, paid or organic promotions could justify not so well written, right? I mean, at the end of the day, the top people in the industry are speaking well about your book because you've kind of managed to make that happen. But when it comes to the common reader, if they don't like it, they will bash it. They will do it because they're paying to purchase it, they're spending the time to read it. So if the craft is not there, or if you've not taken enough time to really put the best book out there, it really kills the whole marketing campaign for that matter if the book is not up to that par. So it really helps if you are very confident about what you're publishing, or if you're ready to at least work with an editor who will bring your book there. So first would be writing skills, and second would be editing skills. And by editing skills, not just edit by yourself, but actually work with an editor who can make it happen. Take their advice, not take it by heart. The editor is suggesting things because it actually works or it makes sense, or that is what needs to happen, as opposed to you thinking it's my book so it needs to happen my way. That's not the case, because are you going to be purchasing 1,000 copies of your book and distributing it for free? That's not the case, right? You want people to buy it, so you are writing for them at the end of the day. You need to align yourself to that. Another skill would be a little bit of marketing skills. Even if you don't have it, if you are a lot of times we work with authors written amazing books, but they are not as tech savvy or as marketing oriented. In that case, it really helps if they're at least open to the ideas, right? If we ask them to, hey, it would help if you're on social media, hey, it would help if you are posting XYZ amounts a week, or hey, it would help if you reach out to your network from your past connection and see if they could host you for these kind of events, or they could help to align these kind of opportunities. So if you don't have the skills, at least be open to suggestions to go out of the comfort zone that you might have perceived that this is where things happen, and make it happen for yourself. So there's that. And last would be, it's not a skill, it's more of an attitude. It's like a can-do attitude with like a really tough skin. Okay, you will end up doing a lot of heavy lifting in terms of putting your book out there and promoting it. You would have in traditional publishing, you would have a team of people helping you out there, but ultimately you are the only or the main champion of the book. It doesn't help how much the marketeer or the publisher hypes up your book or something like that. The way you will talk about your book, how passionately you will present your book, It's another thing. Unless a reader really loves your book and they kickstart a whole word of mouth thing, you have to be that first lover of your own book before other people catch on to it. So that's there. And you should be open to bad reviews, book signings where nobody turns up, event opportunities or something that don't go your way, or certain award nominations or award fest invites not coming your way. That's okay. That's all part of the process. And it's not a race, it's a marathon. Any successful person who's been in publishing for a while, they understand this, that maybe you needed the first 3 books to perform adequately for your 4th book to be a success. Only because when your 4th book is a success, after 3 books to hair, they become a backlist and they also now have the chance of having a reader's scare. People take comment, definitely, I like this, I should check this out, and give a whole new push. So you should have that in mind, that a little bit of patience. It's really tough because bringing a book out is like, as we have experienced with authors, that it's like bringing out a baby or creating a whole new thing or your own creation into the world, and you're very protective of it and everything. But once the book is out there, it needs to find its own legs to walk and run, and you need to let the book do that and be ready to encounter all that comes with your work of creation being out there for people to read and judge and love, or maybe. So yeah, that's it.
Wow. Yeah. A lot of things. But I do have a bonus question from what you said right now. After the advent of ChatGPT, to be really honest, I may think that a lot of things might have changed in the world of publishing and writing and everything. I have never written a book, but after ChatGPT, I have not written an email on my own. I always give it a context and it writes like impeccable emails for me. I understand writing is little bit different. It needs to have some kind of character. But what differences do you see before and after ChatGPT?
Just this different in perception that perhaps now it might be a little bit easier to write books because writing is all about putting impeccably written sentences together. It's not though, is it? It's more about the emotions that come with it and the whole thing. I think I read this quote on the internet somewhere, that if somebody did not bother to write this book, why would I bother to read it? So that's there too. It's clear. They said, right, books are a labor of love. So those 240, 300, 360, how many ever pages, they have like really put that author through a ringer to, for you to hold that in your hand. So if ChatGPT can recreate books, and it has, we are aware of those developments where ChatGPT or other AI models are being trained on already published, material to perhaps for them to understand how things work and perhaps, come up with interesting concepts and books and ideas. But it cannot replace the human feelings, the human heart and the human eye and all of that. It just lacks that. Can it make certain processes easier? Yes. Can it make certain roles in publishing certain roles in publishing redundant? Definitely it can happen. We see that happening already, at least in the West, where we see there's a lot of upheaval around what ChatGPT is doing to the market or not doing to the market and all of that. But when it comes to the everyday reader, if they came to know that the book they read or liked or enjoyed was not written by a person, they would feel cheated by that. At least I would feel cheated if I was told that this was not written by a real person, because we feel emotionally connected to the author when we read what they've written. So yeah, that's there. But we never know. You never know how far there what happens. Yeah, I mean, it has already taken leaps and bounds in the way it's impacting other industries. But maybe publishing could be one of those places, or at least writing could be one of those places where everything still comes from the heart. Yeah, it gets capitalist later on, but at least the initial agenda, it comes from the heart and emotions.
Yeah. So, Garima, those were all my questions. Thank you so much for being here and enlightening us with all the information about book publishing and everything around it. And yeah, I wish you all the best for your job, your book club, and everything else that you're doing in your life. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much, Priyanka. Lovely speaking with you, and thank you for inviting.
Thank you.